I just put the heat lamp on because I was leery about doing that before. But I figure, hey, it's just liable to, set up the cement a little bit more. This is, sitting here for about 3 days. Okay, and it's drying that slow. All right, just the way it ought to be. There's a bunch of goodies in there. Reluctantly, I did throw in a couple of crystals. I don't like to do that because, number one, you lose the crystals. Number two, what if it doesn't work? You're not going to get them back. It seems a shame to do that to them. All right, but I threw some amethyst in there and some other stuff, to be on the safe side. It's still not complete. I think I still have a little bit of a pour to do to get that up to speed. That 2-inch PVC pipe goes all the way through. The reason for that is I wanted to create a vortex in the center of this thing. You could feel that buzz coming out of here. And you could feel it before you put the heat lamp on, absolutely, probably even more so. But you could feel it buzzing. It's just from that wand. All right. The reason I went that hole in the center is I want a vortex. I found that doing that to orgonite certainly helps, and doing it to this, yeah. What's the worst that could happen? I might have to fill it in. Yeah, These pipes aren't complete. I'm going to put concentric pipes inside there. All right, a la Joe Cell, and we'll just take it from there. See what happens. It's going to take a while for this thing to set up to the point where I could take it out of the mold. All right. The cement's kind of weird to work with. We're talking about a cure time of 90 days. What are you going to do? Hey, by the time it's done, spring will be here. Well, we'll see what happens. Okay, it's day 7 of this thing being charged up by the ray here. All right, and I've been periodically using this infrared on here. The surface temperature of this is just short of 180. Okay. It's going to be done charging by Sunday, but this is what I've made out so far. I got this copper ball on here. Okay, and concentric pipes in this one, insulated from each other, like a Joe Cell. And this center shaft in here, if you see it, okay, that goes all the way through the system. I have that lined with copper. Okay, can't see it very well. We'll get a better look. But you could feel the energy signature. This one right over here is just like that. The dispersal from this unit is kind of interesting, because it's more local. But it's about maybe 3 times more powerful than just the pipe alone. This one, it's more like a laser. I could feel that right in the palm of my hand as I go across like this. It's like somebody's hitting it with a pencil. Very interesting. And this one right down in the bottom here, this one in the center, that just blows it out. That just blows out the energy. Pretty amazing. I took the mobius coil wires and I twisted them together to make a closed circuit. Okay, this wire right here attaches to both pipes internally. All right, but right now what I'm doing is I have the ray and the plaster. All right, and what that seems to be doing is just charging this thing up. I'm getting better action out of charging the plaster than I am charging the pipes. Go figure. And in this configuration, the mobius coil doesn't really do much. Yeah, I tried everything. The ray works, the heat lamp works, but the frequency, it's just not there. Well, it's the way the concrete is. If it was resin, I'm sure it'd be a different story. All right, but for some reason, the ray and the plaster and the concrete all kind of, it's like a symphony. This plaster is basically just on the outside. I recast it because I needed to fill up some voids. And some of the other smaller voids I took care of by using, oh geez, what the hell is it now? The stuff that you put on the, to cure voids or whatever. You know what I mean. See the concentric pipes in there? All right, they're all insulated from each other. And I have, and they seem to really ramp up the energy here. I just had some parts laying around. I put it together. Let's see what happens. Okay. This is what it looks like. See? We have, insulation to insulate it from the pipe itself. All these pipes inside here are pretty much the same way. Okay. What I'll probably end up doing is put a coupler on here. All right, extend this pipe, and let's see if we can increase the range. I put on the outside of this thing about 3 coats of shellac, primarily to protect it. If this is going to be out in the weather, I want something to kind of protect the plaster. Plaster's not going to last forever. I consulted the pendulum. Said, don't do anything to the top. Okay, so I didn't. Top is nice and smooth. Yeah, it's a marvel how this thing even works. I don't get it. The cement on the inside is basically, it's a bad choice. 10 pounds of Portland, an equal amount of fine sand, a couple of scoops of iron oxide, and some crystal water and structured water, to mix it up. And I had to do that in layers. And if I had to do it again, I wouldn't do that. I'd use plaster. Plaster's nice to work with. And the plaster I used in order to fill the voids, and in order to recast it like I did, I'm using that bucket right over there, I had to water it down a little bit. So, there's a cup of plaster, 2 cups of water, but I wanted a stronger plaster, so I added some Elmer's glue. Yeah, hey, it worked. And I was developing continuity with that plaster too. Go figure, But apparently this thing seems to be working. I'm going to shut this thing down on Sunday. It's amazing. But since we're going to be using this for remote work, I figured let's get going. Okay. What I want to do is I want to make it rain in Australia, primarily Queensland. It's been very, very dry. And we got to do something about that. So to focus the attention on Queensland, see if you can see that. What do you think? I was going to use a little kangaroo, but hey, what the hell? Vegemite, Australia, kind of goes together, doesn't it? Let's put it over here. How's that? And we'll see what happens. This flat surface and these objects over here, I'm just charging them up. Each one of them is putting out a real charge. It's interesting, and I'll probably use one or more of these things, in the next project as a charcoal. This is not so much that one. This one here is charcoal. You can see the granulated charcoal in there. And it's lightweight. There's not a lot I could do with it, but it works. All right, so what I'm doing is just charging these things up for the next batch. All right, but for the time being, between now and Sunday, when I shut this thing off, we're going to have this thing running. We're going to see what happens to Queensland, Australia. This surface, it's essentially a diorama if you want. I was thinking about putting a little kangaroo on there. I actually looked for one, but hey, I got Vegemite. I don't need a kangaroo. So we'll see what happens, and we'll just take it from there. Oh, and I should point out that since I had this fired up, since I put the ray to it, I've had the best sleep I've had that I can remember. I sleep through the night, all right, and I wake up the next day, hit the ground running. My energy levels are through the roof. Yeah, hey, go figure. I don't quite get it. All right, but each night I sleep like a baby, and I wake up before the sun, raring to go. I have all the energy in the world. I'm having a hard time containing it. I don't know what's going to happen once I shut off the ray. Who knows? Maybe it'll continue to work. I don't think it's psychological. It's too much of a coincidence for it to be that. But it just seems to be, one of the manifestations that this thing has. We'll just take it one day at a time and see what happens. But in the meantime, let's make it rain in Australia. Thanks for watching.